There's this phrase, imposter syndrome, and many entrepreneurs have it, believe it or not. But here's the thing, 70% statistically of every entrepreneur, even the big people that you see online that are celebrities, they wake up in a cold sweat and they're like, I hope nobody finds me out. It's a syndrome that we have, and it's an imposter thing. I'm going to cover some of that. So stay in here with me. I'm going to give some practical steps with this, because after running multiple businesses, some failed and some succeeded. After I sold one of my businesses, have got into high ticket sales and even managed teams that were doing millions a month with that. And now I'm coaching so many people doing this with getting the proper leads and getting and closing those deals for 6 and 7 figure entrepreneurs and people online. So look, I'm with you. I've always had it. There's always these things, and I'm going to cover a few different things along in the video. Like, I grew up, just to give you some context real quick, I grew up as a pastor in the family that was a pastor-led family too. And I loved ministry, loved Jesus. I still do. And I'm also trying to provide really well and make a big impact in this world. But it goes through all these different entrepreneurs. So going from ministry to marketing to sales and management is now what is really interesting. All through that process of having either jobs or having a business is really, there's a self-doubt. There's always these voices in your head. Just if you could resonate at all, those are normal. 70% of entrepreneurs have this syndrome, and it's really affecting how people are actually living in this. So I'm going to cover a few different elements today that goes over this. The first one is confidence. So here's the thing. There's so many people that are like maniacally confident, and are externally or internally, they have this voice, and you have to really lean toward that. There's so many people around us that just say, hey, go get a job, or hey, just go do this. And you have to quiet those voices and have this resolve within you that is only internal, okay? And you have to take those things and just like wipe them clear of your mind. Okay, I'm going to go over some practical steps of how to do this, but you have to have this maniacal confidence that what you're doing is going to succeed, even if it doesn't, okay, down the road. Or even if you have past failures that doesn't align with this, you still need to stand on that confidence. Those are the best salespeople when they have conviction and confidence of what they do and how they can really kind of help solve some of those major challenges. And I want you to just deeply have that resolve within you is kind of the first step toward that growth, with making sure that you're able to have that. The second big idea is that shifting from an employee mindset to an entrepreneur is not always easy. You end up taking orders, and then you have to create those orders and create those rules and create those infrastructures. And so I want you to be creative in how you really build out a successful day. And so what I've done to really help me with this is just do the leading lagging indicators, which is like, how much money do I want to make? And then backwards plan that. So it's forward thinking, backwards planning. So forward thinking is where a lot of visionaries think of, but you need to also rework that backwards. So you have this big vision. How do you accomplish it? And so you need to tactically put together a game plan. And so what I want you to look at is, what's the revenue you want to make? And then backwards plan that. So how many leads, right? And then from that, think about how many leads, how many people will actually show up, how many offers that you actually give, a show up rate, your offer rate, and then that close rate. And that's going to help you really kind of create the leading lagging indicators of like how many leads you need to come, how many book calls, and all that equation down to the revenue that you're going to offer. And that's going to help you really understand, hey, how much ad spend do I need to have? And I test it and really kind of build out a game plan of knowing how many leads I need to actually have to accomplish that goal. And so once you're able to accomplish that goal, then you can even grow it from there. But you need to have some leading lagging indicators. And then you need to assess your time, okay, from this. So here's another practical step is try to define the reason why we get into business, right, is to have freedom. And I look at those as freedom in 3 different buckets. You need more money, right? That's a really leading one. But the other one is time, flexibility, and freedom, right? That's why we do what we're doing, is to enjoy our life to the most. And then also the impact that we're doing that's driving us to actually want to create a business for the impact of not only for yourself, but all the others that you love and serve and care for as well. So I need you to think about even setting up an ideal day. Most of the successful people that you see that have like 2 or 3 hour morning rituals, it's just because they're doing that now after they've had their success. So I really want you to think, if I planned out my day, what can I get accomplished in chunks? So if it's creating content, if it's doing DMs, sell by chat, if it's doing the phone calls, if it's team meetings, all these different things, even if it's like family games, family practices, family dinners, having to exercise. Like what you would want to do is go down to and do a calendar audit of where you're at and try to fit every ideal day. Imagine your day today is the last. What would be making today the best, right? And how can you craft that? Maybe that's going to make and press you to say, hey, I got to wake up earlier to be able to go to the gym. That's what I had to do to be able to get a workout in. I had to go early in the morning at like 4 a.m. That's like my schedule right now. Maybe it will rework in the future, but right now it's like just to fit it all in, I have to be able to do those sort of things and then have team meetings and have time with my family, taking the kids to school, picking them up. Like there's some things that you need to really articulate in your day to really master, be able to accomplish what you need to do. So that's what I'd look at is trying to say, hey, you're an entrepreneur now, like visualize what that game plan will be from revenue and your time. Here's the next one. You're an entrepreneur now. So what do I sell? What do I offer? What do I do as a service? I think the biggest ones that you can look at is either information products, SaaS products, or you're trying to build, a service-based business. I think the information one will have the biggest margin creating an online business. Their service can have a good margin, but it's, hit and miss. SaaS is a good margin as well, which I'd suggest with it. But trying to look at your pricing, packaging, and offering. What do you do? How do you service people? At the start, you got to figure out what do you have skills in that people will pay for? And what do people say about you that you're very skilled in that you can maybe offer? And you want to look at some of those things and make sure that you're pricing yourself really well with that. I mean, the way I'd look at this is the leading lagging indicators of what you want to make again. And so you got to really kind of hedge for, business costs and everything, but take home pay, try to look at what you need in revenue to really kind of look at that and really have a game plan of, coming up what you need to have as a take-home pay, at least minimum for that. I put together this whole budget thing for me. Early on in my entrepreneurship days, I came up with this like Google Sheet. I'm going to give that to you. Down below is this whole Excel spreadsheet. And I put a little, workshop, clarifying how to do this. But essentially, it's 3 budgets. And in these budgets, the first one is, what's my nut? Like, what's my absolute nut that I can have? So think of this right now. It's like I lost my job. I can cancel Netflix, but I need my cell phone, right? I need a place to live, or maybe I can surf on someone else's couch. But if you have a family, that's going to be tight. So you're going to have, some budget items that you need to come up with. That's your nut. That's going to help you really kind of know, where you're at with your family. So you could just say, hey, we're not going to be going out to dinner. We got to like penny pinch right now. So you just know your cost. The other one is the middle one, which is like, hey, I can maybe go on a vacation. I can have, Netflix. But it's not like extravagant, but it's like a good lifestyle budget. And it's going to help you really itemize each thing. It's a really simple process, but I wanted to make it really helpful for me to have a mile marker of know if I have achieved that. The third one on that is really looking at what do I really want? More often than not, we're like, hey, I want this extravagant lifestyle. But really, when you boil it down, it's probably not as much as you actually think it is. So it's really good to kind of pencil that in to kind of see what those items are and or, what the monthlies would even be with it, right? And so it's like, maybe it's like, I want someone to do my lawn. I want a massage once a week. I want a housekeeper. Maybe some of those practical things that really help you have like a lifestyle where you're able to focus on impact and creation and coaching or helping serve your clients more or spend more time with your family, like whatever those things are. Like make sure that you're able to like have that as a roadmap, and then you're going to be able to feel really successful when you have that. And so you have a game plan of entrepreneurship. So you actually have a starting point and you have an end game. And so that you actually feel like you're hitting those mile markers all along the steps of those ways. Here's the next one. Many of the times we have confidence in our background. So it's really good to kind of study out. So what I'd do if I were you is I would journal out, what do people think I'm really good at? Are you good with tech? Are you good with computers? Are you good at typing? Are you good at communicating? Are you confident? You could go talk with people anytime. Are you good with music? Are you good with whatever? Like, I want you to write out each of those things and that experience, and then the background of what people know of you too, of what you have some really good skills is going to help you give confidence of leaning into doing the right things that you want to do. Not that you're just interested in, but really what you're really wanting to do. I think there's an alignment of like your skills and your experience and also being able to look at your passion. And that alignment is going to really kind of give you more of a purposeful way of approaching life in a really good way. It's not going to give you this self-sabotaging imposter syndrome. It's going to allow you to be able to succeed way past that. One more thing here on this is you're going to have friends and family and comments and DMs and messages and people speaking into your life that are wanting you to not succeed. Okay. On one hand, they're like, I want the best for you, and this is why I'm saying it. Really, that's not the best thing. You got to be able to be maniacal about your future and your goals, because more often than not, people want you to just get back into the herd or to follow the normal 9-to-5 rat race. I want you to really be thinking about how can you pursue your dreams and impact, and that more often than not is building an amazing business that you're able to employ people. Many of the times I've even had people say, hey, what are you going to have your kids do? And it's not necessarily what I tell them all the time is, I don't want you to care about like having a job. I want you to create jobs. I want you to be thinking creatively, like what can you do? How can you make impact to create jobs? I think that's going to really give you more of a soulish plan of like how you're thinking about impact on a larger level. It's also going to help you raise your kids in a different way. But you're going to have these voices coming at you. You're going to have your own mental things. You're going to have Satan speaking these bad, horrible imposter syndrome ideas into you. That's not going to help you succeed. And so the way to do this is really just take stock of this. And when you have those thoughts in your mind, to take captive of them and just throw them out the window. Okay. Take them out and just like, all right, I'm not going to be thinking about that, and shift gears. And that's going to help you build this fortified discipline within your mind and heart of like, that's not helpful to be thinking about. That's not the way to do the things. That's not the mental mindset that's going to help me even think about it. I've had this before too, where it's like my wife will share with me, hey, the kids are doing with this, that, and the other, or these challenges, or like, hey, this person that we don't even know has like this sick kid, that I don't even know, or, there was this disaster in the news. And I have to like clear my mind of all that. I am not God, so I can't take on all the emotions and weight of the world. I can only do what I can do. And so this is really where it's like I protect my mind so much of like the influences that come into it that affect how I think and process things. And I did this, and I cleared house too. I did this with music. I did this with the podcasts I was listening to, the content I was consuming from written or YouTube. And I really kind of flushed all that. Even on social media, like I cut the things out that weren't really helping me at all. And there's this old equation that Brian Tracy said. It was an E to E equation that I really liked, the entertainment versus education. If you looked at your day of like how much information you're taking in, is it more entertainment by doom scrolling on social media, watching your favorite shows, compared to like reading a book or watching a YouTube educational video or other elements in that equation? Which one is more balanced? Which one has more? And I think if you're in balance of more education than entertainment, your life is going to take an upward spiral toward the growth that you actually truly want. So make sure that equation's dialed in. Out of all these different things here, let me list them out here. You got your confidence and fortifying that in your mind. You're looking at like the root causes from entrepreneurship. You're looking at the cycle of entrepreneurship that's holding you back from those triggers and other voices in your environment. You're looking at leveraging your background. You're looking at the rapid momentum of like even the self-doubt that you have. Whatever that is, comment down below. I love to hear your thoughts around what's causing that for you or what you found and overcame. There's this guide that I put together of like what it looks like as a high achiever, checklist of kind of in each area of your life that I put together that I kind of look at as a filter or grid. Go check that out. It's a free download that I want to give you. And if you're trying to build an online business to 6 or 7 figures, I have a free workshop that I think would be really helpful to support you. Go check that out down below in the description. And again, like and subscribe. If you like more of this type of content, make sure to watch this next video. I think this is going to really help you on your journey along that direction. We'll see you on the next video.